Learning objectives. In this module, we will learn how to recognize common thinking habits that can increase stress. This is an important step in mindfulness practice. Often, stress does not come only from what is happening around us. It also comes from the way the mind interprets events. Sometimes the mind quickly creates stories, assumptions, or worst-case scenarios, and these thoughts can feel completely true in the moment. As we move through this lesson, you will see several common mental traps. These are patterns of thinking that many people experience, especially during stressful situations at school, in friendships, at home, or when thinking about the future. The goal is not to judge yourself for having these thoughts. The goal is to notice them clearly. Once you can recognize a thinking pattern, it becomes easier to pause, step back, and respond more wisely. This learning objective sets the foundation for the slides ahead. First, we will look at different thinking traps one by one, and then you will get a chance to practice identifying them yourself. Trap 1: Catastrophizing. Catastrophizing happens when the mind jumps straight to the worst possible outcome. In this example, the thought is, "This one mistake will ruin everything." Notice how extreme that sounds. A single mistake becomes something enormous in the mind, as if one moment will destroy the future. This kind of thinking can make small problems feel overwhelming. For example, getting one low grade, saying something awkward, or forgetting an assignment might lead the mind to imagine disaster. When that happens, stress rises quickly because the brain starts reacting as if the worst-case scenario is already real. It is important to understand that catastrophizing is a thinking habit, not a fact. The mind is predicting danger in an exaggerated way. As you listen to the next slides, keep noticing how each trap changes reality by making thoughts seem more certain, more negative, or more extreme than they really are. Trap 2: Mind reading. The next thinking trap is mind reading. This happens when we assume we know what other people are thinking about us, even though we do not actually have proof. The example says, "They must think I'm stupid." This thought can appear in many situations, such as after answering a question in class, texting someone and not getting a quick reply, or noticing someone's facial expression and assuming it means something negative. The mind fills in missing information and often chooses a harsh interpretation. Mind reading increases anxiety because it makes us react to imagined judgments rather than real evidence. Just because the mind says, "They must think this," does not mean it is true. As with catastrophizing, this pattern feels convincing in the moment. That is why mindfulness matters. It helps us notice, "This is a thought I am having," instead of immediately believing it. In the next slide, we will look at another pattern where the mind turns situations into extremes. Trap 3: All or nothing thinking. All or nothing thinking is when the mind sees only two options, with no middle ground. In this example, the thought is, "If I'm not perfect, I'm a failure." This is a very strict and unrealistic way of thinking. Real life is usually not divided into total success or total failure. There are many in-between possibilities. A person can make progress without being perfect. A person can do well in some areas and still have room to improve in others. But when the mind uses all or nothing thinking, it removes that balance and creates pressure. This pattern often leads to discouragement, procrastination, or low self-confidence. If perfection feels like the only acceptable outcome, then even small mistakes can feel unbearable. Notice how this connects with the earlier traps. Catastrophizing makes mistakes feel huge, and mind reading makes social situations feel threatening. All or nothing thinking adds another layer by making self-worth depend on perfection. Next, we will see how the mind can also take one event and turn it into a rule for the future. Trap 4: Overgeneralization. Overgeneralization happens when the mind takes one experience and treats it as proof of what will always happen. The example says, "I failed once, I'll always fail." Here, one moment is being used to define the entire future. This thinking trap is common after disappointment. A student may struggle on one test and start believing they are just bad at the subject. A person may have one difficult social experience and decide they will never fit in. The mind turns a single event into a broad conclusion. This increases stress because it creates hopelessness. If the mind believes that one bad outcome means permanent failure, motivation can drop. But one experience does not tell the whole story. People learn, grow, adapt, and improve over time. As with the earlier traps, the important skill is noticing the pattern. We are not trying to force positive thinking. We are simply trying to see clearly that the thought is an overgeneralization, not a fact. Next, we will look at a similar trap where the mind acts as if it can predict the future. Trap 5: Fortune telling. Fortune telling is when the mind predicts a negative outcome before anything has actually happened. The example says, "I already know this won't work." In this pattern, the mind speaks with certainty about the future, even though no one can actually know what will happen. This trap can stop people from trying, practicing, speaking up, or taking healthy risks. If you believe failure is guaranteed, you may give up before you even begin. In that way, the thought itself can become a barrier. Notice how this connects with the previous slide on overgeneralization. Overgeneralization says, "It happened once, so it will always happen." Fortune-telling says, "I know what will happen next, and it will be bad." Both patterns make the future feel fixed, even when it is not. Mindfulness helps by creating a pause. In that pause, you can ask, "Is this a fact, or is this a prediction my mind is making?" That question weakens the grip of the thought. Now that we have explored 5 common thinking traps, the next slide will give you a chance to practice recognizing them on your own. Activity. Now it is time to practice. For each example you see, pause the video, guess the thinking trap, and then resume to check your answer. This activity is designed to strengthen recognition because the more quickly you can identify a thinking pattern, the less power it has over you. As you do this, do not worry about being perfect. The purpose is not to get every answer right immediately. The purpose is to train your awareness. Ask yourself, is this thought jumping to the worst-case scenario? Is it assuming what others think? Is it turning life into extremes? Is it taking one event and making it into a rule? Or is it predicting the future without evidence? This practice connects directly to all the previous slides. You have now seen the 5 traps explained one by one. In this activity, you begin using that knowledge actively. That is an important step from understanding a concept to applying it in real life. Visual suggestions. As you work through these ideas, the visual design can help make the thinking traps easier to remember. Comic-style thought bubbles are useful because they show that these are thoughts happening in the mind. This supports the main message of the module. Thoughts are mental events, not always facts. Color-coding each thinking trap is also a strong learning tool. When each pattern has its own color, it becomes easier to recognize and recall it later. For example, you may begin to associate one color with catastrophizing and another with mind reading. This can make the lesson more engaging and memorable. These visual choices also support the activity from the previous slide. When students repeatedly see the thought bubbles and color patterns, they can identify each trap more quickly. This prepares us for the final takeaway, which brings the entire module together. Key takeaway. The key takeaway from this module is simple and powerful. Recognizing thinking patterns reduces their power. When a thought is unnoticed, it can strongly influence emotions, stress levels, and decisions. But when you recognize it as a pattern, you create distance between yourself and the thought. That distance is one of the core skills of mindfulness. You begin to notice, my mind is catastrophizing, or this is mind reading, instead of automatically believing the thought. The thought may still appear, but it no longer controls you in the same way. As we conclude this module, remember that the goal is not to stop thinking or to never have negative thoughts. Everyone has them. The goal is to understand the mind more clearly. When you can name a thinking trap, you are already taking away some of its power. That awareness helps you respond with more calm, balance, and wisdom.